To call to order the County Commission work session. Sheriff Eads, do you mind lead us in prayer?
Thank you for the glasses. Thank you for the leaders in the county and having assembled here. Bless them all, Lord. Give us all wisdom as we do the work for the citizens of Dickson County. Bless our community. I still pray. Amen.
Amen. If you stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, call roll, please.
Mr. Simpkins.
Here.
Mr. Ledger. Mr. McElwain.
Here.
Mr. Beatty. Mr. Dawson.
Here.
Ms. Spicer. Mr. Buckner.
Here.
Mr. Britt.
Here.
Mr. Petty.
Here.
Mr. Williams. Mr. Grove. Ms. Gray.
Good to see you all. We had other issues tonight, but appreciate y'all being here. We do have a quorum. First order of business is approval of the April 7th, 2025 work session minutes. Motion by Commissioner Petty, second by Commissioner McElwain. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Item number 2 is appointments. We have 2 up on the 911 board. One is Mr. Timothy Spann, and the other is Mr. Shane Steely. They've already served on that board, and this is a reappointment for them. I'd like to move this to the regular session agenda. Motion by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Dawson. Any questions or discussion? Tim Spann and Shane Steely. I probably confused it because I called them both Mr. This thing on? That was funny. Do have proper motion second. All in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. What is not on appointments, and I failed to put on there, is the Economic Development and Housing Board. This is what y'all approved in March. This is to appoint the members to that. I've got agreement from all these folks to serve on this, and it's a really good committee that's involved in economic development and housing. The 7 names on this are Scott England, Robin Lunn, Mike Easley, Laura Travis, Beth Garrett, Alan Reagan, and Jeff Martin. Those are the names I'd like to put on the agenda to have placed on there. I'll open the floor for a motion. Motion by Commissioner Buckner, second by Commissioner Williams. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. New business. First is quarterly financial reports, all school funds, Board of Education representative. Ms. Valerie Underhill, welcome back from New York.
So the first you'll see is our 141, and that is the general purpose school fund. For revenues at the end of the third quarter, which ended March 31st, 2025, our revenues are at 82% of our budgeted, and our expenditures are at 62%, I believe. Yes, 62% at the end of the third quarter.
Any questions, Ms. Underhill? Do you have anything?
3 more.
Okay,
Sorry.
please go ahead. No, you're fine.
The second one is the 142 fund, and this is our federal projects fund. So these are our reimbursable grants that are reimbursed by the federal government. So you'll see that our revenues were at 55% and our expenditures are at 62%. And that's merely because we have to spend those funds before we're able to request them. And then the next one is the 143 fund, and this is the central cafeteria or school nutrition fund. Their revenues at the end of the third quarter are at 64% and expenditures are at 75%. And the last one you'll see is the 177 fund, and this is our capital outlay fund that was approved by you all last year for the $15 million. And so you'll see that we've spent 46% of that at the end of the third quarter.
Any questions from Ms. Underhill? Seeing no questions, open the floor for a motion to move this to regular session. Motion by Commissioner McElwain, second by Commissioner Petty. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Underhill. Item number 2 is quarterly financial reports, all funds except schools. Mr. Hall.
Well, I hate it when a new person does better than I can do it. 25 years and you've been here how long now? She's already gone. Anyways, I sent this out to you Thursday or Friday. I don't remember now, but I haven't received any calls or anything. I've gone through these myself and everything was pretty good on the revenues, and the general fund itself, which covers most of all our departments, was a little tight. I don't know if that's because of everything's kind of gone up in price everywhere. If the economy may be a little bit like it is. I won't get into them. Like I said, nobody's called and questioned anything. The debt service fund, everything looked good in there. I'll go through them each one. Landfill looked pretty good. Something else. That's something else. Landfill third quarter, it's basically okay. I'll make some more statements after I get through. Drug control, it's just what it is. It's not a lot of activity there. Highway department, expenditures were a little bit tight there also. They have a lot of expenditures in parts and that type thing, and those parts for all that equipment they have are getting expensive. Their revenues were good though. Debt service, it's just revenues are really good there. The adequate facilities tax in the county and city of Dickson and that type thing are really good still. That's, that's been going on. People are still building like crazy. The expenditures are fine and they're low right now, but we pay most of our debt in May and June of the year. So that's fixing to happen. And 171 fund, it was fine. The main thing is though, we've done amendments for most of these funds through the third quarter. We didn't do the amendments until just last month. So these things are really kind of outdated like right now. So we need to get them approved. And now with the amendments to update them, that's where we'll be seeing stuff now. They'll be more up to date, but yeah, a little bit tight in some of the expenditures through the third quarter, but I don't think we're in trouble or anything.
Any questions, Mr. Hall?
Yeah.
You might look at it for the next meeting, but on the 171 fund, on the second sheet, there's a lot of the numbers that don't match up with the budget. I think maybe.
And that's where the amendments, that's where we'll have amendments tonight. So we didn't do amendments for 171 last month. So I sent you, let me find my agenda here.
His budget is showing like the 911 showing it wasn't budgeted for $1 million, but it was budgeted. There's like 4 or 5 of these that don't match the budget.
Is that it? That's not in 171 though, is it? You got it? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So we got 3 or 4 of those in there that
Yeah, that's an amendment. That is amended now. And that's something right there that is probably going to get done before this year end. And this is some work that my office with the mayor himself have gone through. So that's what we'll have in amendments coming up next. So we can talk about that even more.
It'll get a little more clear on it because again, when you do projects in 171, before you get it bid out, we're using our best guess on that. And so that's one we'll fine tune. Back as I did a budget presentation earlier, now that we're getting the projects down, they're very defined and we're in process, like on working across the street on the historic building, down to some roofs and things of that type. We finished the codes building next door, which we were not way under budget, about $50,000 under budget. We kind of have a better deal. And so we're going to clean those up. The amendments will make more sense.
Yeah. So if we can get the quarterly reports approved, then we'll move on to the next.
Yeah, this is just what Mr. Hall's asked for is a motion to move the quarter reports on to the regular agenda.
Sure. Go ahead.
I noticed the workers' comp, we didn't have nothing budgeted, but it's 410,000. So what? Something.
Okay, so we've done a journal entry since the end of the March 31st is the end of the third quarter. In April, we journal entered that information out there. So that's 0 now to each department that it went to. So that's a 0 amount currently. So yeah, but this here is through 3/31. So in April, I journal entered it to the correct department. Yeah.
That's the same in what we talked about the budget with medical insurance, where we had that $400,000 line. We mark that out to everyone it belongs to, and then whoever's also getting their HRA return money, it comes out of that, and then we put it with the department it goes to. So we hit a big number trying to hope we can figure out where it does. Mr. Hall always overestimates, so we don't have to come back to y'all for more money. We just got to clean the lines up.
Yeah.
Open the floor for a motion, move forward. Motion by Commissioner Brett, second by Commissioner Simpkins. Any other questions or discussion, Mr. Hall? Hearing none. All in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Item number 3, amendments, all funds except schools. Mr. Hall.
Okay, I sent you the 151 fund and 116. 151, the day I sent you the third quarter reports out last Friday. And I sent that debt service and landfill, but today I brought you a single bullet sheet. I've got it labeled as or highlighted as, and 171 fund. So now we can talk about that if you want to. So the 151 is not a problem. It's just we had not covered it. So I don't have anything to add with that right there unless somebody has a question. It's in good shape. I did the bullet sheet for the general fund. And I just, what you see there is that's all I've done this month for that. So, and I don't anticipate doing anything else for it. So we'll get that out of the way. And then what we have left is landfill. That's quite a bit of work we did there. And it's in good shape now too. So I feel confident in that, but we can go on to 171 now. You had a question on that. The amendments.
They just weren't showing up with the budget, like reference to the budget.
Yeah.
A lot of the numbers weren't matching up.
Yeah. And now these are in line. This is the way we figure it's everything will work now. Yeah. It was kind of scattered out now. And the projects, getting so many people in line to do different projects now is kind of hard to do. This is what we believe will be finished by the end of the year. And if it's not, then we'll get what can be done this year, and what's not done, we'll get it back lined up to start next year.
Because the unspent money rolls over to the next year, but we pay bills up until June 30th. And so where we are, like one of them we've got right now is the farmers market project. Some of that money will be spent, but it won't be completely spent until we get in the next fiscal year. So whatever's left, we'll come back for y'all to amend to move that forward to finish that project.
I guess what I'm saying, though, just to clarify, like the E911, we're showing this amendment here that nothing was budgeted. My budget that I've got shows we have $1 million in it. So it wouldn't even.
We're adding $1 million. It had no budget to start with.
My budget shows we have $1 million. Unless I got it wrong.
Well, we're talking about current year amendments. Are you looking at what the mayor presented tonight?
This current year's budget, when I pull out the budget, we've got $1 million budgeted for each.
Well, I think on that, Mr. Hall, you can check me. We wrote a check because of the radio changeover at 911. We paid them $1 million. I think we had that label in 171 and we had to move the money on there, but we owe them, I think the total amount's around $2.6 million on the new radios. But our agreement was we wrote them a check for $1 million up front. So we're left owing 1.6 going forward. And I think we didn't line that up right. It probably shouldn't have been in 171, but we did pay them. So the money's gone. But I think, did we get out of 101 or out of?
We'll have to find out because
There's three. I was showing the budget that was showing where it's in the current budget.
well, I'll find out where it went. Yeah, I'll find out.
I sat down at 4 o'clock and, it's a couple hours.
Because we sat down the other day and looked to see if anything had been spent out of some of this, and I don't believe anything was showing up as being spent there. But we'll verify that. Was there anything else you saw there?
I think we had 950 budgeted in the health department.
We did. It's been paid. Well, we've spent the money and it's gone. Now, again, we're about to start talking accounting and that makes my head thump. But I can assure you, we had to write them a $1,047,000 check for the new health department. We paid part in the previous fiscal years, I recall, we had 850,000 was spent for the purchase of the property that we did back in December. We've had engineering cost and the core sample deal. So the money has been spent. So
Well, I'm saying here we cleaned up, we had it in one code, 791-1. We took it out of that code and we moved it down to where evidently we were charging it 791-5 and we added that money back.
But the issue is, and I hate talking accounting. I've made C's and D's and that. That's why I've got good accountants around me. We're also out of that project. You recall, we fund it and get reimbursed from the state
Yeah.
on that. So that's going to affect that line. We'll go in the hole until we submit invoices and then the state repays it. So kind of like any construction project state does on a grant, we'll get the money back, but on every line, you're not going to have it. And I'm done. I'm not talking anymore about accounting. I need a Tylenol. And I actually understood what I said.
Well, I will look at that.
Why don't you two get together and tell me what's going on? How about that?
Yeah, I'll look at that.
Does anybody else have any more questions other than Mr. Williams? He's already used his, open the floor for a motion to move this on to regular session. Motion by Commissioner Buckner, second by Commissioner Simpkins. Thank you. All in favor, of move this on the regular agenda, vote by saying aye, vote by stating aye. Wow. No, thank you. Number 4, capital outlay notes for solid waste highway department, Mr. Hall.
Yeah. Let me find. Yeah, with this here's for two capital outlay notes. One's for the landfill and one's for the highway department. Highway department's in the amount of $865,346. It's for a sweeper, tractor and mower, some F-350 trucks, and a compactor for the highway department. The other is for the solid waste department, some containers, compactors, a 2025 Freightliner, and a pole barn for $349,000, $315,000. And we just need to get that approved. We
This
want to
is,
get it done before this year.
this was, we already had this approved in budget. You're approving the borrowing right now.
Yep.
This was in the budget presented last year. You're approving the borrowing.
Yeah, barring.
Any questions for Mr. Hall? Open the floor for a motion. Motion by Commissioner Petty, second by Commissioner Gray. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. One more time, Mr. Hall. Copy releases for various departments.
Yeah, we put out a bid for copy leases for various departments. One, mayor's office, circuit court, solid waste, general sessions, assessor's office, and 2 for sheriff's office. We had interest from like 3 or 4 different companies, one bid. They were all very reasonable bids. So they're going to be the winners. So I want to get that approved by you guys. It was, oh my gosh, I didn't write the name down.
It wasn't Dickson Office Supply.
It was not, they didn't bid.
Amazing.
We wore them out. I'll have to get you the name of the company. I didn't even write it down and I can't think of it.
These fit into our budget line items.
They are well within, yeah, the bid amounts per each department. It was very well and very reasonable. Yeah.
Any question, Mr. Hall?
I'm sorry, I didn't write it down. I can't remember it.
You'll do better. Any question, Mr. Hall? Open the floor for a motion. Motion by Commissioner Simpkins, second by Commissioner McElwain. Hearing no other questions, all in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hall. Item number 6, County Health and Occupational Safety Plan. Mr. Rob Fisher.
Thank you, Mayor. It's time to update our county plan for our health and occupational safety. This plan's required to be updated every 7 years. There's nothing that has majorly changed within this plan. It's pretty much just getting updated employee counts per department and some name changes of department heads.
Open the floor. Or any questions for Mr. Fisher? Hearing none, open the floor for a motion. Motion by Commissioner Brett, second by Commissioner Spicer. Hearing no other questions, all in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Fisher.
Thank you.
Item number 7 is maintenance agreement with TDOT in the county. Mr. Hodges, our highway administrator. He's looking at me or you. You're on the agenda.
Yeah, I can cover it, Mayor.
Oh, good.
So,
Yeah.
we've done these agreements in the past where the state comes in and they make improvements. Maybe it's putting the strips on the stop signs and things of that nature. And when they do that, they require us to agree that in exchange for that work being done, that we'll maintain it going forward. I don't recall which roads they are, but we can get that out to you. But that's what we're asking to move along for the next meeting.
Any questions? Open the floor for a motion. Motion by Commissioner Buckner, second by Commissioner Williams. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Reagan. Item number 8, County Corrections Partnership. Sheriff Eves.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commissioners, as many of you know, a couple years ago, we gained state accreditation for the law enforcement side. That's our first responders, deputies, detectives. And all that we had to do on the jail side was just make sure we were TCI certified. And so last year and 6 months ago, TCI offered an accreditation program, Tier 1 and Tier 2. And so one of the ways that benefits us is it's never bad to be an accredited agency of anything. The second thing, it's not super expensive. It's kind of like the other best practices. TCI has some goals that they would like for us to obtain. One of the ways it'll help us financially is currently receive $41 a day to house a state inmate. Once we become Tier 1 accredited, that will go to $44 a day. Based on our average of about 50 inmates, we figure it might raise the revenue back to offset. It doesn't completely pay, but it does help offset our local taxpayer money. And so one of the requirements is council has prepared a resolution. What we have to do through this partnership, let me just get my notes so I don't tell you wrong. This is not going to be hugely long. But what it does, it asks the governing body, which is you guys, to form an official by resolution committee that will meet at minimum once a quarter, and it will include stakeholders. I believe we would need one of you guys to be appointed volunteer to be on that board. We would probably have law enforcement, which kind of helps keep our city partners. Now, this committee doesn't direct day-to-day operations, but we'd have somebody from the medical field community, probably somebody from the recovery community, somebody from the education community. We're figuring about 6 or 7 people. I don't have any names or recommendations tonight. This is just, in my understanding, Mr. Mayor, to grant the authority for us to bring back probably some members for your consideration to be on this board. And like I say, the committee acts as a steering committee, and then it'll have a secretary that will take notes of the meeting, that sort of thing. And it's one of the best practices is to keep you guys better informed as a body. Everything can be discussed from the current health of the inmates there, current programs that we have going on to reduce recidivism, to the current status of the jail, that sort of thing, and form a formal committee to give y'all committee reports. I don't know if it'll be quarterly as needed, but anyway, that's my request. And like I said, there is some financial incentive, and I got an email today. There may be some additional money coming for Tier 1. We would be considered a Tier 1 accredited agency. So that's my ask, and I probably spoke too long. Mayor got me on a roll and inspired earlier. So anyway, y'all have any questions, I guess, or is that your mayor?
Any questions, Sheriff, for Sheriff? What we're looking for is a motion to move this to regular session. Open floor for a motion. Motion by Commissioner Williams, second by Commissioner Petty. Hearing no other questions, all in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioners.
Next item, number 9, Planning and Zoning Director. As y'all know that Mr. Dave Darnell turned in his resignation back in January or February. His last official day was the last Friday in April. We appreciate the work Mr. Darnell did in our planning and zoning codes. He's also been gracious enough since that date to work for us in an advisory position for the next few months, working a couple of days a week up until the end of August. On that. So it gave us a nice time for a transition, but also leaving the consistency you need in any department. From that, it's always the authority of the board of the commission to ratify the mayor's decision. What I've done in the past on almost all of my hires is that I put together a board of knowledgeable people of that and let them do the interview and bring me anywhere from 1 to multiple names. On that board, we put on there Dave Darnell, Donnie Bear, Donnie Thiel, and Star Moore. They did a good job, and I appreciate them. A couple of now old retired planning and zoning guys, so especially Mr. Thiel coming back to spend a little time with us. They did the interviews, they had a few applicants. They came back unanimously with the name Curtis Hayes. I think you all know Mr. Hayes. He works over there. He's been there for the last 7 years as the number 2 guy behind Mr. Darnell. Curtis has been in the construction business since 1985. Prior to going to work for planning and zoning, he spent 13 years working for Jones Brothers Construction, and he's been with us for 6 years now. Curtis is here tonight. That's the name I'd like to submit and like for y'all to consider as the new head of planning and zoning. What I'm asking for tonight is a motion to move that to the regular session. If y'all would like to meet with Mr. Hayes, he's here tonight and would make his schedule available at any point that time. If he is approved, the official start date will be for him as the head of planning zone will be on June 1. So that would give us this month to get things done, make any final changes, and put him in that position. Open the floor for any questions you may have. Yes, ma'am. Excuse me?
I didn't.
Oh, I'll take that as a motion by Commissioner Spicer to have a second by Commissioner Buckner. Any questions or discussion? Any question for Mr. Hayes? And again, he will be here until the meeting's over, and he'll hang around if you have any direct questions for him. But I'm excited about Curtis. I've known him from working here. I always try to deal directly with the department heads. I talk casually to employees, but I like to keep the chain of command order. But after working with him over the last month and a half, I've gotten even more comfortable. I'm really excited about the pick on that. So I do have a proper motion, a second, put this on the agenda. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Item number 10, finally getting to the end. As y'all know, we put together, and I can't tell you how many months ago it was, the issue that we have with solid waste, about where we are on tipping fees. I had a lot of discussion with several of you, and frankly with Commissioners Beatty, McElwain, and Simpkins. A lot of concern about the private haulers and how to do this and be equitable, because we had we're getting overrun. We're tightening up on the revenue we are. There is no interest that I've gotten from y'all to increase the $10 fee, which I agree with you. That's been static for almost 14 years now and has worked well. But we have to find a way to increase revenue, not only for operations, but start setting money aside so we can take care of capital improvements at that location. We injected some Joe Biden money in there last year, but that's something we need to plan for in the future on this. So after working on this and meeting with several of you commissioners about it, I'll have a handout here for you. The recommendation will be, we're at $54 a ton now. The recommendation will move commercial tipping up to $70 a ton, still $5 less than our two neighbors to the east, and ask our municipal partners to start paying half that, $35 a ton. That's the city of Dickson, White Bluff, and Charlotte. Our agreement, even though they have private haulers bring it in, our agreements will be with the municipality, and they'll be responsible for making any agreement on who hauls their garbage and brings it to us on that. And I'll hand this out to you so you can see clearly what each of these does and how much revenue it'll raise. We're looking at roughly raising about an additional $500,000 in revenue. It could raise more, but we also, just from doing some interpolation, we feel like that we will not see as much waste brought into this county as has been on this. So if y'all let me pass this out to y'all. Yeah. And while you're seeing this, what you're seeing on the top is the commercial tonnage brought in from commercial county waste that is picked up by our county haulers, the city of Dickson tonnage, the White Bluff tonnage, and Charlotte tonnage. You multiply each of those numbers times the $70 a ton for commercial. Obviously, we don't show anything charging us because we pay ourselves back, so it's a zero sum. The city of Dickson showing that they would pay $35 a ton. That would raise $188,000. White Bluff would pay $35 a ton. That's $57,400. And then the tonnage from Charlotte would raise $11,375. We've set up the number for the municipal waste at half the cost because we also recognize the fact that by them having city garbage pickup, that also lowers the pressure on the county for having more convenience centers. If they did not pick up waste, we'd probably have to build about 4 more convenience centers to handle this equivalent waste on this. So that's the reasoning for that, but it spreads it across the bounds. I'd met with several commissioners. I thought we were at $75 a ton, but I was able to fine tune that because we want to be fair. But we want to them, the haulers, but we also want to be fair to the citizens that have to pay for this. So the other aspect that I'd like to point out on this, we recognize, I think Commissioner Williams made some comments on this back when we listened a few months ago, that there needs to be a ramp up phase because we don't want to drop these fees on them and our commercial haulers not have an opportunity to reassess their business and pass on any additional costs they may have. So we recommend on this because it's not tied to the tax rate, the solid waste and enterprise fund. We don't recommend this taking effect till September 1st. That way, the first year will only be for 9 months and then take on the full year on that. Be glad to answer any questions or take any comments or suggestions from this commission.
We would only create 500,000 in new revenue.
Yes.
And then you said earlier in the budget, I didn't want to interrupt you, but you said this later. What are we paying out of that $10? What is the fee for them to collect that?
The total amount, Mr. Hall, do you have your line item handy? It's roughly around, I think it's around 450,000, I think.
I heard a number and I didn't know if it's like it's supposed to be $2, what they get out of the team. I was just curious if that was correct.
Yeah, because they're raising about I've got it spread out here, just whatever the subtraction is, because we have all the $10 fee is one of your line items on the budget I hand you. So it's that subtracted to that. Basically, we're paying all the mailing. Their initial discussion with me was to not do it at all. And so that's when we researched the fact of what would it take to set up a collection department and let's pay for it ourselves. It would have been a lot more than that. It'd actually take additional staff to do it in our own agreement. So they relented and decided to do that. So yes, am I happy about it? No, but it's the best answer of the answers we have out there. And just a projection I did, I don't think it would need to be touched for another 5 years. Assuming that we're all on normal increases. There's not anything shocking. The additional funding really needs to go to a landfill capital improvement fund. If you've been out there lately, or well, it doesn't matter lately, it's been the same way for at least 15 years I've been around, how traffic backs up at that scale, traffic crossing each other, or getting an engineer to get ready to design a way to bring that in, basically where the old dog pound was, and you can get traffic to circulate and not back up on road, but have it actually on site where it can be better managed and have an in scale and an out scale. And that's the longer term plan on that. I want to thank Mr. Ken Naif especially for working on this, and Ms. Jackie Fayette. They did a lot of work on this to put a lot of this data together. And I also met with Mayor Weiss today, and nobody likes a new fee, but he understood what we're doing and why we're doing it. So, he'll work that out with his city council and the citizens of the city of Dickson.
Does it still work out about the same on the Charlotte and the White Bluff? What the haulers were having, the tipping fee on it?
It's a little bit of an anomaly in there because you had the same hauler, I think, for both those cities. Am I correct with Cumberland? If you look and do your math and divide the tonnage by city of Dickson, and that total amount, you're around 0.31 as a ratio. With White Bluff, they're at 0.38. But Charlotte's a little less than that. If you would put Charlotte and White Bluff together, you're at the 0.31, which would lead me to think that they're probably commingling White Bluff and Charlotte garbage together, because then it balances back out.
Okay.
The one true factor is the one that makes the 0.31 factor you look at with the city of Dickson is they haul their own waste. So there's no commingling. They're bringing in residential waste from the city of Dickson. And I think I learned today, I was unaware, I think they're bringing a little bit of commercial waste. So that's probably why they didn't get too excited about having to pay on this. So they may have some on that. I don't know what it is, but this formula still works, I think. But I got a lot of input from Commissioner Simpkins, McElwain, and Beatty. I talked to a few of you others, and thank you, but they were the exterior experts on this. So anything y'all would like to add, either directly or indirectly, Commission, I hope y'all would, because I think we banged this out. Works relatively fair to everyone. What I'm looking for then, if y'all don't have any other questions, is to move this on to the regular session. Motion by Commissioner Simpkins, second by Commissioner McElwain. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, vote by stating aye. Opposed? Thank you. Other business, any other business to be brought by any commissioner? Hearing none. Under announcements, sorry. Thank you. That is a self-reporter on birthdays. He saved himself. But Mr. Beatty found something else he needed to do tonight, and tonight was his birthday. So his self-reporting didn't work. He will get a song. So look forward to limber your voice up on the 19th. If y'all are in and around Gatlinburg, Tennessee at about 1:30 Eastern time on that Wednesday, which should be the 21st, that sound about right? The Dickson County will be receiving its Perfect Audit Award. You're all welcome to be there and be in the picture. So if you're 1:30 Eastern time, 12:30 Central, check your local listings. Any other announcements? Hearing none, I've got two announcements. There will be a Budget and Budget Advisory Committee meeting on May 19th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. prior to the County Commission meeting in this chamber. The next work session meeting will be on June 2nd, 2025 at 7 p.m. in the Buford L. Booty Reed Jr. County Commission Chamber of the Dickson County Administration, Four Court Square, Charlotte, Tennessee. Motion, second. Thank you.